Hi everyone, Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros, and today we're going to do something a little bit different on the channel because today we're going to do a review of this. It's the PRGR Personal Launch Monitor. Now I must admit, when I got the device a few weeks ago, I wasn't initially planning on doing a review of it, but I've been absolutely blown away by the results that I've been getting that I just had to share it with the world because you, like me, might be umming and ahhing about whether or not to buy this device, and hopefully over the next 10 or 15 minutes I'm going to show you lots of different information that will help you make that buying decision that's right for you. Now you might be looking at this device for one of two reasons. Firstly, you might be looking at doing a bit of speed training, and you might have been on either Superspeed Golf or the Stacks websites and seen this device recommended by both of them as a good entry-level personal launch monitor for tracking those club head speeds. Equally, you might be someone who's looking at buying a launch monitor for other reasons, just for getting your yardages, tracking your distances for use at home or at the driving range. And again, you might be looking at this in comparison to some of the more expensive units to see if this is a good way of dipping your toe into the market. Now, hopefully with what I'm going to show you over the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll be able to answer all the questions that both of those types of customers might have. So let's get stuck in and find out all about the PRGR. So I'm going to split this video into three parts. Firstly, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the pros and the cons of the PRGR Launch Monitor as I see them, having owned the device now for about 3 weeks. Secondly, we're then going to go out into my garden. I'll show you how easy and quick it is to set up the launch monitor and get going with a swing speed training session. I'll also do a few swings for you so you can see just how quickly the device registers as well. And then finally, what we're then going to do is go into the indoor golf simulator, put it side by side against that £20,000 TrackMan and see just how accurate this launch monitor is and whether you can trust the data. Now, I don't want to spoil the surprise for you, but please stay tuned because I think it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing for you when you see just how accurate this launch monitor is for £200. Now, in terms of those pros and cons, I see 4 pros and 2 cons of this device, and I'm just going to talk you through them first of all. So the first pro I've just touched on is the price. In the UK, this retails for between £185 and £200 depending on where you buy it. And I've done a little bit of research and converted it into American and Canadian dollars. And in your market, it does seem to be priced up at a similar price point. One thing that is worth noting is if you are going to buy this device for use as part of speed training and you don't yet own either Superspeed Golf sticks or the Stack system, do consider buying it together because they do bundle it up together and offer you a bit of a discount for buying both at the same time. So you could save yourself a little bit of extra money there. But in terms of that price of £180 to £200, it does make it one of, if not the cheapest personal launch monitor on the market that I've been able to see from my research. So if you're looking to dip your toe into the market, this could be a great way of testing it without breaking the bank. The second pro for me is the size, the weight, and the sheer portability of this device. Now I'm going to show you a video on screen of it side by side against a sleeve of golf balls, and you can see it's almost identical in size. And what I would say, even though you have to add 4 AAA batteries, which you have to supply yourself, even with them in, it's incredibly lightweight too. It's probably a little bit heavier than a sleeve of golf balls, but it's certainly less weight than my iPhone, for example, so somewhere in that ballpark. And that for me means it's incredibly portable. You can use this at home, you can take it with you in your golf bag to the driving range or out on the golf course, and you won't even notice it's there in your bag. On that point of portability, I think another great pro link to it is that effectively you can use this in multiple different locations. I could easily see a time in the future when it's the middle of summer, the golf course is empty and I'm playing a few holes for a bit of practice. I could take this out with me on the golf course and lay it down there and get some numbers out on the grass as well. And that leads me really nicely into point number 3, which is just the sheer ease and speed of setup. Now I'll show you that properly when we get into my garden in a second, but you literally have to press the power on button, which takes 2 seconds. Select the club that you want to use and lay it down on the ground. If I told you it takes 15 seconds to set up, that would be a slight exaggeration. It's less time than that. It's really, really quick and easy to set up. Other things that you don't have to do with this, which you do have to do with some other launch monitors, you don't have to select your handedness, so left and right-handed golfers can use the monitor side by side next to each other. There's no need to level it all up and make sure it's on a perfectly flat surface and at the right angle and all these things. All you need to do is purely put it roughly down the line that you're swinging, 3.5 to 5 feet behind the ball. Now, if you want a quick tip on how far is 3.5 to 5 feet and you're out on the golf course, take your driver. Most driver shafts are about 3.5 feet long. Stick it on the ground between the ball and the PRGR. Maybe add the length of your grip on top of it again just to give yourself a bit of extra space, and away you go. The fourth pro, as I see it, is the sheer number of shots that it records on the device. So this device will track your last 500 shots. So there's plenty of space for capturing multiple swing speed training sessions, multiple range sessions, or taking it out on the golf course with you. Now onto those two cons. The first of them is the number of data points that it measures and the data points that it captures, because they are limited compared to other personal launch monitors out on the market. Now, as a general rule of thumb, the more expensive the launch monitor is, the more data attributes it's measuring and the more data attributes it's calculating. Now, this launch monitor itself is only measuring 2 data attributes, which is your club head speed and your ball speed, and then it's using those 2 data points to then calculate 3 other data points using the algorithms built into it. First of those is the smash factor, then you've got your carry distance, and then you've got your total distance. And the way it does that is it takes the club head speed, the ball speed, the club that you've said you're using, the algorithm built in to calculate a calculation of those numbers. Now, one thing I would say is it's not considering things like spin, it's not considering things like launch, and it's not considering the quality of strike, which some of the more expensive launch monitors do. So we need to make sure when we put it side by side with that TrackMan, we can see how accurate it is despite not having those data parameters. The second con, as I see it, is it's not very good on chip shots. So if you're planning on using this device to help you with your chipping, I would recommend potentially considering an alternative option. However, what I would say is the PRGR is not alone in that. I've used a Mevo Plus before, which is a lot more expensive, and had a similar experience where it really struggles to pick up small chip shots. And I think the reason for that is the distance, or the amount of time that the club and the ball are coming together is a little bit longer than it would be on a much faster speed shot, and it can't differentiate between those 2 points. In my testing, it still picks up the club head speed when you're chipping, but it just doesn't pick up the rest of the data points. Linked to that, I have had one experience where it's not picked up a pitching wedge, and you'll see that in the batch of shots we hit in the TrackMan in a minute. And I've had one experience of it missing altogether a swing in a swing speed training. But I've probably done 100 odd swings with the device over the 3 weeks, and to miss 2 shots in that time, I think is really, really impressive for the price point it's at. So they're the pros and cons as I see them. You might see it a little bit differently because your buying criteria might be a little bit different to mine, but hopefully even me just going through that information for you is helping you to make up your mind if this is the right device for you. What we're going to do now is get out into my garden, show you again how easy it is to set up, and then we'll do some swing speed training so you can see just how quickly you get the readings from the device as well. And then after that, we'll do that all impressive TrackMan comparison. Okay, so we've come out to my garden now, and I'm just going to show you just how quick and easy it is to set up and get yourself going with a speed training session. One of the things with me is I started speed training last year, and I actually filmed a video on my speed training progress, which I'll put a link to up in the corner for you if you're someone who's interested in seeing the results you can get from speed training. The problem is I didn't stick with it. The reason for that is I was using a different launch monitor at the time, and it was a lot more hassle to set up, and it ended up taking me kind of 10 minutes to get it going, 10 minutes to pack it all up. And then when you added that in with the time to do the session, it was just taking longer than I really wanted it to do. So one of the reasons I wanted to buy this is because I heard it was so quick and easy to set up from the little bit of research I did in advance. And hopefully by me showing you how quick and easy it is to set up, it'll also, if you're feeling the same, help you to make that decision point. So all we're going to do is press that power on and off button that I showed you indoors. You'll hear it's beeped already just in me saying that. We'll place it on the ground, flat surface. You'll also see I've set up the GoPro next to it for you. It is set up just to the side of it because I do need a clear line down the way that I'm swinging for the device to register. So although I'll show you the results of how quickly the GoPro is picking up, it will be from the side angle, but I just want you to see just how quickly it picks up. You might also hear the beeps as well after each swing, which just shows you how quickly it does that as well. But that's it, it's good to go. As long as I now stand kind of 3.5 to 5 feet down the line from it, I can get started with swinging, and you'll hear just how quickly it picks up. Look at that, 94 mile an hour straight away, and we'll go again. 93 mile an hour. 94 mile an hour. And again, you can just see how consistent those numbers are. And the key thing for me is by using the same device every time, at least I know that I'm getting consistent numbers from one session to the next as well. So hopefully that's just showing you just how quick and easy it is to set up. If I wanted to change the club on it, it's a couple of buttons, which I'll just show you on screen now, how quickly you can do that. And if you want to go back through and see those historical readings, I've shown you that earlier, but I'll just pop it up on the screen again for you as well. And that's it. Really, really easy to use. When you're done with it, pick it up, turn the power off button, put your sticks away and away you go. Like, it sped up my sessions by at least 10 minutes compared to the other device I was using, which means I'm more likely to stick with it now and hopefully progress throughout the spring and into the summer, gain some much needed speed. Let's get down to the fit in bay, just see how accurate it is when we're hitting balls with it and comparing it against that TrackMan. Okay, so we just got down to the indoor TrackMan studio here at City Golf in Chichester, which is an absolutely fantastic facility. Now what we've got is we've got a TrackMan set up in the usual TrackMan position behind me. I've then got the PRGR set up sort of 3.5, 4 feet behind. And what we're going to do is just start off by testing that second potential con of slower swing speed. So I'm going to hit some partial wedge shots to begin with, and then we'll go up and hit some pitching wedges, a couple of 7-9s, a couple of drivers. And what I'm going to do is I'll call out the numbers that come up on the PRGR in terms of club speed, ball speed and carry number, and I'll also give you the numbers off the screen from TrackMan and we can see how they compare. Let's just remember as well, before we start this test, the PRGR is a £200 piece of kit, the TrackMan is a £20,000 piece of kit, so we're not expecting it to be absolutely mind-blowingly accurate, but we just want to see if they're in the same ballpark so we can have confidence if we were using it for gapping, etc. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so the PRGR has picked up the club speed of 30 mile an hour, but it hasn't picked up the ball speed, smash factor and carry. So that potential con of those slower swing speeds, we might be noticing that here. The TrackMan did pick up a club speed of 33.6, the PRGR 30. So again, about 10% out, but let's hit a few more partial ones and see what we get. Just gonna hit this one a little bit harder to see if we get a difference if we go a little bit of a longer swing. PRGR says 46 mile an hour, TrackMan says 50, so TrackMan's again reading about 10% higher. The ball speed on the PRGR is 45, it's 46 on TrackMan, so again really similar. Smash factor is 0.98 on the PRGR, 0.92 on TrackMan, and the carry distance, I got 41 yards on the PRGR, 40.5 yards on TrackMan, so rounded up exactly the same. So really, really good. So that slight difference there, it just underread that kind of club head speed by about 10% and that ball speed by, what, a couple of percent, but the carry number was spot on. Club head speed, PRGR 55, TrackMan 57.5, really close. Ball speed 53 on the PRGR, 53 on TrackMan. Smash factor 0.96 versus 0.93. The carry distance 53 with the PRGR, 51.5, so 52 with TrackMan. That's really good. Club speed 62 on the PRGR, 65 on TrackMan, so again really similar. Ball speed 59 on the PRGR, 59.9, so 60 on TrackMan. Smash factor 0.94 versus 0.92. Carry number 61.3 on TrackMan, 63 on the PRGR. Like, I don't even need to do any more to be blown away by how accurate that is for a £200 monitor. Like, we're talking about, you know, 5 to 10% out potentially with that club speed, but the other numbers are within a couple of percent of each other, and that's brilliant. Okay, club head speed, 68 PRGR, 70.6 on TrackMan, couple of mile an hour in it. Ball speed 88, 89. Smash factor 1.29, 1.26. Carry number 112, 111.5. Rounded up 112. Unbelievable. Club head speed 65, 68.8. Ball speed 85, 85.7. Smash factor 1.31 versus 1.25. Carry number 107, carry number 106. Unbelievable. This is just getting ridiculous. Okay, so there's an interesting one for you. That one didn't pick up anything other than the club head speed, which was 63 versus 70. So we have got one that hasn't read just there with the PRGR. That again could be a negative to it, that it's not picking up all of the shots, whereas TrackMan is. Right, it's picked up that one. PRGR is showing 69 club speed, TrackMan 70.2, ball speed 89 versus 89.5, smash factor 1.28, smash factor 1.28, carry number 113, carry number 113.1. Game over. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant bit of kit. Right, let's just hit a couple of 7-irons. Club speed 76, club speed 75.9, identical. Ball speed 107, ball speed 107.1, identical. Smash factor 1.39, smash factor 1.41, carry number 149, 150.4. They're identical. Right, PRGR 77 mile an hour club head speed, TrackMan 76.4. Ball speed 105, 105.1, smash factor 1.35, 1.38, carry number 146, carry number 145.7. Like, amazing, absolutely amazing. So I've just got home and there's just time to give you my concluding thoughts on the PRGR Launch Monitor before we wrap up the video. Now, hopefully over the last 15 minutes, you've been able to see why I absolutely love this launch monitor, because in my opinion, the pros significantly outweigh the cons. I think it's fantastic value for money, and because of that size and that weight, it's incredibly portable, and we've also seen how incredibly versatile it is, being able to use it for my swing speed training to capture those club head speeds, take it with me on the driving range to capture some numbers, and even take it out onto the golf course to capture some data out on the grass as well. Finally, we've also been able to prove how incredibly accurate it is when compared against that £20,000 TrackMan, held up as the pinnacle of golf launch monitors alongside the GC Quad. And that says to me I can trust the data and therefore will keep using the device. Now, all that remains for me to say is if you like the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. It really does help me. And if you want to be notified of when all of my videos land, I've got loads dropping over the coming weeks, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. I really would love to grow the subscribers this year. And if you want to join them, I'd really appreciate you as a follower as well. Thank you very much for watching. Keep enjoying your golf and keep on that pursuit to become a weekend tour pro.